All right, in our next example, example 2 right here, we're going to look at what happens when b is negative and c is positive. So here's our ax squared plus bx plus c. A is 1. We're only working with a equals 1 today. And b is negative 8, so b is negative. And c is positive 12. So if b is negative and c is positive, what do we do? Well, remember what we said back here on the previous page. If c is positive, p and q have to have the same sign when we factor that trinomial as x plus p times x plus q. So if c is positive and b is negative, what that's going to tell us is that since b is negative 8 and c is positive 12, since b is negative and c is positive, both p and q have to be negative. So both of them have to be negative. Both p and q are negative. So since b is negative 8, they didn't really leave me any room here, so I'm going to write it down here. B is negative 8, C is 12. Both P and Q have to be negative. So I'm going to look at the factors of 12. And we're going to look at the sum of the factors, and we want the sum of those factors to be negative 8. So what we need for our sum of factors is negative 8. So I'm going to start with negative 1 and negative 12. They both have to be negative because I need them to multiply to create positive 12. So negative 1 and negative 12 would do. Or negative 2 and negative 6 would do. Or 3 times 4 is 12, so negative 3 and negative 4 would do, right? And we don't need to go any further because negative 4 and negative 3 is the same pair. So the sum of the factors in this case is negative 13. That's not what I want. There's what I want. Negative 2 plus negative 6 is negative 8. That one's negative 7. He's not quite right. So this is what I want. So my polynomial x squared minus 8x plus 12 will factor as x minus 2 times x minus 6. And then you can check that answer. And guess what? They checked it right over here. So they've already checked it for us. All right, now what happens when c is negative? So the last that we're going to look at here is what happens, how do we factor x squared plus bx plus c when c is negative? And b can be positive or negative. We'll just be looking at what happens when c is negative. All right, so if c is negative, we still have to have the p plus q adds up to b, and p times q has to multiply to create c. But if c is negative, p and q are going to have different signs. One of them needs to be positive and one of them needs to be negative, like this example right here. Notice what happens. X times x creates the x squared. There's a negative 5x and a plus 1x. And then 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. So to get a negative right here, right there, I have to have a positive and a negative. All right, so let's do example 3, where we're going to talk about how to do this if c is negative. So we've got this example right here where b is 4 and c is negative 21. So I'm looking for a factorization x plus p times x plus q, where p plus q has to equal 4 and p times q has to equal negative 21. So, like we said, p and q have to be opposite signs. One's positive, one's negative. They have to have opposite or different signs. Okay? So I'm going to start with factors of negative 21. I could do 1 and negative 21. I could do negative 1 and positive 21. Let's see, 2 doesn't divide into 21 because 21 is not even. I could do 3 and negative 7, or I could do negative 3 and positive 7. Anything else? Nope, 4 doesn't divide in, 5 doesn't, yep. We've got the list. Those are the integers, the integer pairs that multiply to create negative 21. So 1 plus negative 21 is negative 20. Remember what we're looking for? We're looking for a sum of 4. We need a 4. This one's not going to work. That's 20. 3 and negative 7 add up to negative 4. If you're only off by a sign, if you just switch, negative 3 and positive 7 are going to add up to 4. That's the one that I want. That one right there. So what that tells us is that our polynomial x squared plus 4x minus 21 will factor as x minus 3, these two numbers right here, and x plus 7. And then you can check that answer. They've done it for us right over here. It works. Okay, what I'd like you to do is pause the video for a second and see if you can do the monitoring progress, how you do with those. And then if you restart the video, you'll be able to see the solution. All right, check to see how you did on the monitoring progress. Pause the video if you need to, because I'm going to move into the next part of the video. I'm going to skip to the next page. I'm going to eliminate the real life problem because we haven't talked about the zero product yet. The zero product property. But what I do want to mention is this right here, the concept summary. This is a good thing to study. It talks about what happens with the P and the Q in these different cases. What happens if C is positive and B is positive? What happens if C is positive and B is negative? What happens if C is negative? Okay, so this would be a good thing to study right here. It's just a summary of all the things we've talked about in the video.